Hello YouTube, it's Derek with Two Techs and a Tool again. Today I'm going to unbox the part of my machine that I had the most intrepidation about. This is the Raijintek Triton cooler. It's an AIO water cooling system. The reason I'm kind of worried about it is, to me anyway, Raijintek is kind of an unknown. They do have some cases out there. They have this, and we have some mixed reviews. When it works, it seems to work very well. There are a lot of people that have got them that are DOA. When I got the picture, I was like, oh no, they sent the wrong one. And I turned it up, and the Triton Green is there. So this comes in a couple different models. There's the Triton Core, which has no color and no fans, so you can add your own fans. I didn't look to see what the price on that was. I should have checked that, because I may swap out the fans. We'll get to that in a minute. Then we have the Triton, which has the fans on it and clear liquid. There's also the Triton RGB, which comes with 3 types of dye. And then we have the green, red, or blue pre-dyed. I'm doing a green build. We can change the color in this because the tubing is clear. It's the actual liquid that's colored. The one thing about it is, if you look at Linus Tech Tips video, he brings out the fact that if you open the port on the reservoir, which you can see from the picture, the reservoir does have a port on it, your warranty is void. And I knew I was going to do green, so I may as well just order green instead of the RGB kit, and that way I still have a warranty. Originally in the build, I was looking at doing the Corsair Hydro H100i or the H100 GTX, and cooling wise, these are supposed to be similar. This one, some claim to be better. The H100i is pretty tried and true, proven setup. But I did want to add a little bit of color, and right now on Newegg, this was the same price. This is generally $120, and it was down to $99. So the one thing that Tech Tips had a problem with was packaging. And evidently, they have gotten better, because the one they got had very little packaging, and that is part of the problem. They were having a lot of leaking systems that showed up. So fortunately, we got a nice package there. This, we'll get our fans out of the way. The fans, yeah, I probably will still swap these out. So the fans are tied together into one header, and they've got a adjustment on them. The problem with that is you gotta either drill a hole in your case to where you can adjust that manually, or do something else. And I'm not sure I like that setup entirely. So in the build videos, I'll probably do something different. I'm either going to get a separate controller, or if my Corsair Link will control the fans, these fans, the pump says it's supposed to be 20 decibels. I didn't look to see what the fans are supposed to be. These just say DC brushless Raijintek fans. I'm not sure what they're going to do. Some people have had issues with these being noisy, and so I was a little worried about that, but I already had a fix for it. I bought the Corsair 540 Air case, and it has 2 fans that come with it in the front, and I'm going to pull those out and replace them with 3 of the green Corsairs. So worst case scenario, I'll just put the Corsair fans I took off on here instead. But a lot of people have said they work great, so they may just stay there. I don't know. The biggest thing I was worried about is, like I said, everyone that has reviewed any of these seem to like them. The issue they run into is if it leaked out of the box. and this does not appear to have that problem. There's no moisture on it. It looks pretty solid, and no leaks, anything like that. So not too worried about this. That's the thing I was stressing about after I decided to go with this over the Corsair. So we'll go ahead and pull out the parts out of this box and get the box out of the way and set this here. So this says, again, we've got graphite pipe, ceramic access pump, less than 20 decibels of sound on that, and does not have a decibel rating on the fans. So we'll see how they perform. If they don't, then we'll just swap them out. Oh, here we go. Fan is 21 to 36 decibels. So your Corsair fans they max out at 20 decibels, I believe. Yeah, they max out at 26. So these can be a little bit louder, so we may end up just swapping those fans out, but we'll see what they do and what they sound like once they're in the system. So it's basically just like your all-in-ones that we already have. The difference between this and the Corsairs, like the H100s and some of the others, is this one is designed to be expandable if you want. Now, you can only expand so far with just one radiator, obviously cooling wise, because you're going to run out of radiator space. But the pump will handle more than this has now. So what you can do is you can actually put another radiator in and then add it to your loop with just some more flexible tubing and some more fittings. So that's an option you have with the Raijintek that you don't have with the Corsairs. They're basically made to not be cut into and taken apart, whereas these you do have that option. And the other option is, the Corsair has a really small top on it, and there's no color to it. With the green build we're doing, this will fit right in. This is going to set on top of the case and then just go down to the processor. So it should have just that added touch of green, which mainly aesthetic. And then if I do want to add to it later, I can, which the only thing I think I would do is we're going to test the processor with the stock cooler it comes with first. See what we can get out of it. And then we're also going to test it after we put this all-in-one on top of it. See what we get there. And then we're going to test, and just to see what we get overclocking between the two. After that, we'll see how it goes. If we need to get more cooling out of it, we'll maybe switch to an H100 if we need to, or we'll maybe add a small radiator to the loop on this, just because I like the idea of this being customizable, whereas the others are not. So we've got some plates here for different mounting options, which we'll go over that when we actually put the case together. But we have, oh, that's nice, got a spreader for thermal paste, and then they've got thermal paste in the packet here. So all the hardware you need, different brackets you need. This is compatible with quite a few different Intel and AMD CPUs, so you can use it with about any of your builds. Again, I'm pretty excited to use it. I don't have any plans of getting rid of it. I was kind of worried, as I mentioned, that when it got here, it would be leaking. But they have obviously improved on their packaging since a few people that I've seen review it have gotten it. So it was really well protected. It's nice and thick plexi there. You can see the pump in there. It'll be kind of cool to see that moving around. You can see your fluid moving. I think this is just a nice step between. I was looking to see if the top is all scratched up, but it looks like it's got some type of protective coating on it that you can peel off. I hope that's what it is. Otherwise, yeah, it is. I hate that stuff. Let's peel that off so you can see, because they actually have a Raijintek has a nice, it's got a nice matte black finish on there, just a little bit of silver accent in there. So I would prefer that these were all black fittings, but can't be too picky. But you kind of have this gap in water cooling. You can do the full-blown custom loop, which then you're talking a few $100 minimum. I was pricing one out for this build, and just to kind of get just a basic custom loop in liquid or in flexible tubing, I was going to be in that $250 to $350 range, depending on what reservoir I wanted. And I didn't want to spend that much on it, but at the same time, you go with the Corsair, like I said, the H100s, the H100i GTXs. They're proven, they're great, but they're just black. They're just plain. There's not a lot to them. So if your build is stealthy or you don't care and you're just looking for performance, maybe that's the way to go. This one, though, to me, kind of fills that gap between fully custom loops that you're doing and an all-in-one solution. Nothing real intimidating about this. I'm really going to show an install on how easy it is to put this into a system. And it'll kind of be a retrofit, because we're going to build the system without it first and then add this after. So you'll see how easy it is to add it to an existing build that you have. And it is that gap in between just a basic all-in-one, whether it's an NXT or a SwiftTech or a Corsair, and something that's more customized. So I don't know for sure. I would be curious. You could buy the NXT core, and then you could buy any color of nano fluid you wanted and put it in the reservoir, which that's another option. If maybe I don't like this green, I plan on sticking with green. It's my favorite color, and my video card is green, so it's going to be hard to change the color scheme on this machine unless I want to do something drastic. But I'd have to look. I don't know if this is supposed to be ever replaced. If it is supposed to be replaced, then I'll probably get some nano fluid and run nano fluid in it, just to have a more custom, the exact green I want instead of this green. But this one just kind of looks like antifreeze, dragon's blood, or something like that. So it'll match everything else we're doing quite well. And it has LEDs underneath the pump, so when it's running, this glows. And I've seen them, the glow kind of carries up the pipes a little bit, so that's nice. So it'll be good to see. One thing people might ask, we'll show, it does have pretty good fin density, which may be why, yeah, you can see through it, but I'll put the green under there. Notice, oh, that is one other point I'll cover. So you can put the green under there, and you can see through it, but it's pretty solid. I've seen some radiators you can see through better. So that could be part of the reason those fans are noisy. They might be good fans, but they've got a pretty dense radiator here, which is good, but does restrict your airflow. So Mikey and I were talking about whether to do this will be coming on intake side, so whether to do a push-pull or whether to do strictly just a push based on how the case is set up. Now that I see that fan or that radiator density, we may end up doing a push-pull config just to make sure we push enough air through there. And again, that's something, if you want to see numbers before and after, maybe we'll just run one set of fans and then add the second. When I was doing this, I did notice one thing. Luke at Linus Tech Tips brought out, these are nice and flexible. In a way, they can be too flexible. So we're going to have to be careful when we do this. In my build, I've got a lot of room. The Corsairs, a lot of the other ones have a harder black plastic type tubing that doesn't kink very easily. So the trade-off here is this is the same kind of tubing you'd use in a custom loop, and if you bend it far enough, it will kink, and that's obviously going to restrict your flow quite a bit. I do have an idea for that. I may mod this a little bit, and it'll look cool, but it'll fix that issue. So stay tuned for that as well. But that's just something to keep in mind if you are using this type of system. You don't want to kink that and run it. It is made to kink and unkink. When you're moving it around, it's not going to hurt it, but you obviously don't want to run your system with a kink in it, because you're going to have a lot of restriction when it comes to the flow of the coolant. So not much more with that right now. Like I said, stay tuned. Subscribe for the build logs coming up. We're just waiting on the case and processor. The case shipped out a day late from Newegg. It's still on time for them. This actually all arrived early, so that's been great on their part. Amazon, I've been kind of frustrated with this time. It was showing that processor was available, and it hasn't shipped yet. So it's kind of frustrating, but it should be here any day as well. And then we'll get it up and going, and I'll have my machine running. So until next time, have a good one. If this helped you out, kind of give you an overview of what the Raijintek offers, then give us a thumbs up. If there's anything you'd like to see different, put it in the comments. We'll kind of be doing some feedback as we go through on the build, and we'll go from there. Until next time, this is Derek with 2 Techs and a Tool. Have a good one.